Hello! It is I, Peerless Drew, back for another live stream of questionable usefulness and value. But I'm here anyway. Predacon Waspinator's here. Why ain't the rest of you here, huh? Predacon Waspinator's here. Represent. These things got a little dusty over the years. So I forget what the hell these are called, but I saw them sitting around and I was like, well, there's people out there ain't never seen these things. They're kind of interesting. So in the movie lines, I don't know. In some of the movies, you might remember, you know, the Transformers would have modes where they just had like a bunch of weapons pop out in vehicle mode. And that was the whole premise behind these things, whatever they're called. I could look them up, but I didn't have time, and I'm sorry. But these all... I actually have quite a few more of these than I remembered I had. I got a lot of these. But they are... Yeah, well, these are all... They don't turn into robots. But I guess they're Transformers. They kind of transform. So let's start with this one. We'll show you how it works. So some of them are kind of... have like a spring-loaded mechanism in them, and some of them are just manually operated, like this guy. But we'll just pull back on the trunk, and a bunch of stuff opens up. And he's got all kinds of guns. So that's one. It's Bumblebee. Kinda cool. Here's this is kind of like an homage to the Transformers animated Soundwave, but it also pops open and has a bunch of weapons and whatnot. There we go. That's all the way open. It's got little guns on the front. Pretty spiffy. Spiffy. And then we got this is like a Can-Am Roadster, I guess. And I think it's not completely collapsed. It's like one of those three-wheeled motorcycles you see around, and then it's got guns popping out. I love how this gun pops out, and it's basically its only purpose seems to be to shoot the dashboard of the vehicle itself. So that's super helpful. I'm glad that can happen. Finish off one of the small ones. Here's another little motorcycle. It can also shoot itself for no good reason. Everything pops open. And closes again. Maybe, theoretically. It won't close. Alright. Alright, and then you got Barricade, similar to Bumblebee. I think it pops open from the back. Why? Why dost thou forsake me, O Lord? Oh, okay, it lifts up. I see. But yeah. It's got a lot of little clever auto-morphing mechanisms, like this gun that kind of pops up out of the... It's kind of cool. I forget what this version of Mirage is called. Let's see what the rub sticker says. Is he an Autobot or a Decepticon? He's an Autobot. He's an Autobot. And you transform him by... pull back on that. It's kind of cool. Even the front spoiler has like a bunch of little weapons that appear. Kind of neat. Here's some that are more mechanically operated. So you cock it with this lever underneath, and then you can push the button and it'll kind of... So a bunch of guns pop out of that. Pretty cool. Doesn't transform really, but there's also... I want to make sure I cover everything, so I'm going to be careful I don't just show you the same thing twice. I guess this guy's here. Look at that. Now we're ready to attack. This guy. Because before he was an F-22 Raptor, and that's not at all dangerous. And so you got to have a bunch of weapons pop out of this. Otherwise, you know, it's just a plane, you know. It's just an air superiority fighter. Here's a little jazz. Pretty cool. Here's... They didn't do all three of these guys, which is kind of a shame. But he's got... Boy, there is dust all over these things. I am sorry. That's all better now. And we have kind of a Hound Jeep. It's already got a big gun, but it can have more guns. It's hard to know where you can hold these things to, like, operate them. And then Megatron. Even his head pops out the front. And then there's this guy. Super awesome. Anyway, I thought I'd show you those. If you want me to bring any particular one back, you let me know. Otherwise, I got a few other things I can demonstrate. Stealth Force, is that what it was called? Stealth Force? That sounds right. What's my next stop motion? Probably the Toy World... away dust. The Toy World World War II Bumblebee kind of turns into a 40s era truck, car thing. You'll know it when you see it. And then early next week, I should have MPM 9 Jazz in. So that's probably what's going on next weekend. But it depends, because also on the way, but it could still be more than a week before I get it out of customs, is MMC Fraudo, the next one in the MMC version of Bruticus. The all built-in Bruticus, which is kind of cool, super awesome. MP45 is whenever he's released. I don't know when he's releasing. Supposedly at the end of November. And so we shall see. Supposedly before that is going to be Black Arachnia. But she doesn't even have an official release date at Amazon Japan. So I'm not sure. She just has like this estimated release date. Certainly Black Arachnia and Bumblebee will be on the docket whenever they show up. Who's my favorite of these Stealth Force figures? I don't know. I kind of like this guy, because I kind of like fire engine Transformers anyway. He does a lot when you push the button. He's even got like little things back there. That might be my favorite one. It's hard to say. The monster truck's kind of cool too, though. I suppose whatever my favorite one is, it's going to be one of the ones that's more clockwork. But that's kind of ridiculous. I like it. How have I been? I've been all right. Usual frustrations in life, I suppose. Standard stuff. So much dust everywhere, everywhere dust. I've really got to stop shedding skin particles. Yeah, I'm still doing Masterpiece. Come on now. There's just only so many Masterpiece figures. So I do third-party Masterpiece, do official Masterpiece, and then I fill in with some Studio Series here and there. I really don't know if I'm going to do any Siege. I'm not even sure why I'm collecting it. It's a good line. It's decent, but you got to draw the line somewhere. Yeah, I mean, the official Takara figures, you get like maybe 6 of those, not counting repaints, a year. So, I mean, I'll do Black Arachnia, I'll do Bumblebee 2.0, Hound, Leo Convoy. Those are the ones that have been announced. So, all those eventually. I brought a little hodgepodge of figures to show off here. I mentioned last week this is one of my favorite jets. Does he have landing gear? He should, yes. Just don't have his landing gear out. But that's a cool little jet. It's like that G.I. Joe jet. Or the NASA X-plane that they had for experimenting with swept forward wings. Apparently it changes the stall characteristics, but makes it really hard to control, so they needed to supplement the pilot with a computer. How do I pronounce my name? Peerless Drew. Peerless Drew. Do I have a favorite masterpiece? Official Takara masterpiece favorite is going to be... I really like Megatron. I like what they did with him, how he transforms. He's really clever, and he turns into pretty much a life-size replica of a Walther P-38, which is nice. Unlike MP5, that turned into like a god-awful... Well, in either mode, it was god-awful. I may be getting Transform Element Op Leader this Christmas. Well, congratulations. That's a good choice. Yeah, that's a good one. I did the video of the Nemesis version of him. But you can still use the same video for the other one if you want to have a better manual. It turns out they transform the same way, even though they're different colors. And so I transformed this guy. He's a very cool guy. I like him very much. It's a pretty crazy transformation too. Which I like. I like a good crazy transformation. This slides out. And then this flips up like this. And then we can flip this over. The whole back of the plane. He really washes out in the light, I'm sorry. And then you could try changing the exposure. Let's change the exposure, guys. Ready? Here we go. -9, -10. Yeah. Not quite so washed out. Maybe I'll just turn down the brightness here. Not too bad. That's better. Well, my YouTube name is derived from... It's basically, there was a store called People's Drug. And a friend of mine one day thought up the name because the letters were burned out on the sign. So the sign looked like it said Peerless Drew. And he never used the name much, but I always found it useful because it was like a unique string of characters. Nobody else is using P-Illustrator. Well, you know, now that I'm super famous, maybe people steal my name and register for things under my name, and that'll make me mad. But it's just derived from a couple of missing letters from a store sign. And now you know. Now you know the deep, dark secret. You and anyone else who watches this live stream, which is apparently going to be like maybe 100 people. So 100 people are going to know now. That's kind of cool. Like the engines are there. And then I should really just do a fixed focus. Let's see if I can get away with that. Focus. There we go. Now the thing can stop trying to focus on my hand constantly. I gotta get these out of the way. Go ahead and get the engines out of the way. Chief. Alright, that goes there. That plugs in there. He comes with this weapon, but I broke the weapon. I mean, it still can hold together, but you can't really transform the weapon anymore, so sadly I just leave that on the shelf rather than mess with it. It had a very delicate little joint in it. Now, granted, in the miraculous era of eBay, I suppose I could just get a replacement, but it's just a weapon. It looks fine on display. There he is. Whatever his name is. I forget. But I like him. He's a good little plane bot. Of course, I did a fixed focus, so he's just out of focus now. I was almost tempted to shoot him, but he's just not quite complicated enough. I wear gloves just because I'm used to it. When I do the stop motion, it's easier to edit out the black gloves. You know, when I try to hold up a figure or something, I like hold it up in such a way that I can edit out the hand later. So, I mean, the raw pictures, there's all kinds of hands, especially not all the time, because obviously I prefer it if the figure will just stand by itself. But if I gotta like flip the figure over, you know, I've got to reach in behind and flip it over and then edit the hand out. I didn't have the skill to edit out the hands before. So if you look back at some older videos, you can actually, I just left the hand in, I didn't care. The glove. And then I just got in the habit of doing that even here for the live streams, because I got a whole box full of black nitrile gloves. And it looks all pro. So the official story is, you know, I got to keep fingerprints off my precious collectibles. My dusty, dusty precious collectibles. Oh, speaking of dust. Away. Yeah, why is that guy saying shout out over and over? Blank Slate Studios. Is that the shout out? Is that how that works? I don't know. Blank Slate Studios is participating in this stream. So let's see. This guy's kind of cool. He was from the same line as that little jet. But he's like a little missile truck. And he's even got little, you can like pop the missiles. So you can fire them. If you're so inclined. And I'm not. But he had kind of an interesting transformation. Just unlock the feet there. And then we can flip over the things here. This is weird little arms. But they had all these figures that didn't figure it all in the movies, but it's like the toy designers are like, I know what a Bayformer looks like now. We'll just make our own. We'll just invent our own Bayformers. But it's hard to get his head out. I thought I had something, but I don't. I thought I did, but I don't. So I'm going to use this here pencil. Come on. There you go. Just put that out of the way for now. And then this all kind of auto-morphs a little bit. Just goes. And then I like to lower his head down. It looks a little less ridiculous that way. And then this pelvis flips up and the feet flip out. He's got integrated ankle rockers. It's always nice to have ankle rockers. And then this can flip around, and that's like his backpack. Whereas my little kid, when he was little, used to call it a pack. All right, and there you have that interesting little curiosity. Okay, so he just wanted a shout out. I dig it. Everyone likes to have a shout out. Shark07, you got a shout out. Predacon Waspinator, you got shout out. And there's only like 4 of you here, aren't there? Well, it's my 4 favorites ever. Used to have Hailstorm. Well, most of my viewers are between the ages of like 18 and 44. Which is funny because I'm older than that. Do I have any Beast Wars collectibles? Yeah, I picked up a few Beast Wars figures here and there. I don't know, maybe next week I'll dig out some old Beast Wars figures. I'm always trying to think of something I can do. These guys are kind of cool because they're super rare. You had to order them special from Japan and whatnot. But this was part of that same line, movie-ish line. But this was the movie-ish version of Frenzy and Rumble. And we won't get into an argument about which color is which. There's like the robot mode and the tank mode. But they were actually pretty hard to get because you had to order them from Japan. Or, from one of the online stores. But this was there was a whole series of lines, like Transformers Animated and some of the movie lines that for whatever reason they didn't finish out the line. The stuff ended up going to, only showed up in Japan or went to Ross's or Ollie's as aftermarket, or what do you call it, overflow. Because I guess the stores had too much of the other product and they were like, no more. And so then Hasbro had to scramble and get them sold somewhere else or not even complete some molds that had been announced, which was kind of depressing. So then they came out with this guy in that line, and we'll go over him. But it's interesting because he's an homage to this guy, both of them being Lockdown. But this is Transformers Animated, and this is the, I don't know, Hunt for Decepticons, one of those lines that came out in the movie style. Well, you can be here at whatever age you like. It's fine. Rumble Blue, Frenzy Red, in Predacon's opinion. And that's like half the opinion out there. I mean, what's the problem is the cartoon did one way and the comic books did the other way. And I think really the only thing that really matters is what they were called as toys. And I don't remember which way it is as toys. Why do I do live streams? I don't know. Why do anything? Why ask why? It sucks being 15. Well, there's worse things. there are certain advantages to not being responsible for things. These guys are kind of cool. I always like the Transformers animated toys. I wish they had made more of them. They had a nice style and a nice sort of matte finish. And I really like Transformers animated. Just the way the robots would turn into what looked like cartoon characters. They did a really good job with designing these. This pegs in really tight. There we go. There's one leg. There we go. Though I feel like this is supposed to tuck in here better than it is. There it is. There it is. There we go. It's kind of got a knee, but it's not a very good knee. I don't think there's another knee. No, it's just the only one you get. This likes to pop out and then it won't go back in. But he's just made for standing. Don't overthink it, right? Don't overthink. He's just made for standing around, looking cool. Crack that open. Separate the old arm skis there. I guess this kind of goes like that. Whatever. Oh my god, it's backwards. Oh. I was like, why is his hand the wrong way? I don't understand. I'm going to leave that put away. Because that's where his gun, that's where his thingy goes. Take this hand out, though. Alright. Let me flip out his head. Alright. Lockdown. He's so tall. He's very tall. Let's just there we go. Lockdown, and then he's got this weapon. Or as Lance Reddick would say, whippin'. You don't know who that is. It's an actor. It's a guy. He was the head of Fringe Division in the TV show Fringe. He had a funny way of talking sometimes. He would say, do they have any weapons? So this is the more Bayformer-ish homage to the same character. And unlike the other guys, I didn't actually transfer. This guy was already in car mode, so I'm going to have to remember how the hell this transforms. Just see what comes loose. See if you can get his whippings out. Aha! There's something. There's something that pops out. Yeah, you gotta flip these down. Alright, well, Blank Slate Studios, despite questioning the very nature and reality of the streams, has decided that he likes the streams. So I appreciate that. This is a weirdly asymmetric figure. I don't know if I can jump ahead to the arm or if I've got to get something else out of the way first. We'll just leave that alone. And this is the other arm, which is entirely different for some reason. All right. And then I think this will just fall off, so we'll just set it aside. This was, you know, this whole thing, this arm thing was like some thing that belonged to Ratchet, and then you know, Lockdown hunted down Ratchet because he needed that thing. You know, so he's like this bounty hunter. Which is, of course, where they got the idea for Lockdown in the movies. But that Lockdown was radically different than the other one. What is going on here? Alright. Check it out. It's the foot. Alright, I got it now. Alright. He's got really weird legs. There we go. This is a much more Bayformery version. They wanted to have some ankle tilts, so they put it there. That's where the ankle tilt is. Not quite on the ankle, but it's all right. It'll be okay. All right. Now we can stand him up. That's when the stop motion gets easy. He's kind of digitigrade. All digitigrade means is you're walking on your toes like a deer. Like the back leg of a deer. Yeah, Fans Toys is going to make a really big Fortress Maximus. I'm really curious to find out like how they're going to take a transformation as simple as that and make it unnecessarily complex with floppy little metal linkages. How are they going to do it? How are they going to incorporate their trademark floppy metal linkages? Only time will tell. I'm not a huge fan of Fans Toys. I mean, nice paint jobs. Nice paint jobs. Don't get me wrong. If you want a nicely painted figure, whew, Fans Toys, that's your option. If you want a figure that's fun to transform, then you don't want to go with Fans Toys. You're going to be disappointed. This comes over the top for some reason. But the arms are asymmetric for no particularly good reason. Isn't that cool? Asymmetric arms. Who would have thought? And then the top of this just comes around and makes his chest. I feel like this should peg in here. Peg in, man. Maybe these need to come up. Yeah, that's why. That's why it was sticking. See, and he ends up with like a weird asymmetric back end too, because more of it went with the one arm than with the other arm. And then I like to just put these right back where they belong on his hips. But that is the Transformers Hunt for the Decepticons, I don't know, homage to Lockdown. And of course we can put this little gizmo on his arm. Goes on the other arm in this case. But there's animated Lockdown versus... If I leave that up long enough, I'll be able to choose that as my screenshot. Yeah, I wonder when we're going to get to the point where someone releases a Transformer so big that you'll have to, you know, have some friends over and, you know, rent a come along in like a little crane so you can transform your Transformer. I don't think bigger is necessarily better. I was really excited about Zeta's take on Unicron for that reason, because it doesn't have to be big to be interesting and fun. And a lot of times if it's big, then I think from all the pictures I've seen, I don't think the Hasbro Unicron can like stand on its own. I think it needs the support base even when it's just in robot mode, which is kind of like, ooh. Yeah, this guy's got arms. Flip this over here. And there you go. There you be. Maybe we'll put him in the middle. Maybe that can be the YouTube, the thumbnail for this live stream. Showing off that super rare figure right there. Shout out to Marshmallow Brain Animations. Well, there you go. You got your Marshmallow Brain animations. Shouting out to them. Yeah, it's yeah. The Fans Toys. Apparently, Fans Toys at first is just going to release the head, like the big head that has a little head, like a Russian nesting doll. You think it's a giant shell former? Well, maybe. The HasLab Unicron certainly is a giant shell former. It's ridiculous. It's not very well thought out at all. Zeta looked a lot better. They should have just bought Zeta's design. That would have been a better figure. Do I have any 2000 RID stuff? That's actually kind of where I got back into Transformers, is the 2001 RID stuff. So I have most of the car type stuff from 2001 RID. They had those 3 bad guys that worked with Megatron, the skunk and the flying squirrel. I can't remember. Oh, and the lizard, the frog or whatever. I never got those because at the time I was really excited to see car robots again, and I was never much into Beast Wars, and they were just repurposed Beast Wars molds anyway. So I don't actually have those from RID, but I have like the 3 Autobot brothers. I have the Optimus Prime and the Ultra Magnus. Previous live stream I showed off the Rail Racer, which I keep hoping someone will do like a masterpiece version of. I have the 6 or 10 or 12 or 15 changer Megatron, depending on how you want to look at it. I think that's pretty much all the important things from that line. I have some of the smaller figures, like there were some repurposed molds. Can I show off? I'm not going to jump up right now. I will happily do a focus on 2001 RID on the next live stream where I need to show off random figures like this. Probably the next live stream I'll just discuss the World War II Bumblebee that I'll have just shot as a stop motion. And then so it's at some point I'll break out the 2001 RID stuff because it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, you say Zeta's is too small, but it's big enough to be big, and it's small enough that it can stand on its own. And it's a lot more clever than that. I mean, I would be happy with a Megatron or a Unicron this size if it was clever. You know what I mean? You can't get a scale Unicron no matter what you do. I think an MP scale Unicron would be the size of our own moon. So good luck being to scale. Sunstreaker's a good choice for a favorite character. Blank Slate Studios, shouting out, is a fan of Sunstreaker. I like Sunstreaker. I think my favorite Autobot car when I was a kid, though, was either Sideswipe, probably Sideswipe, but maybe Mirage. Mirage was pretty cool, too. I don't know, Wheeljack was cool. They're all cool, damn it. So, how do you pick one? But Sunstreaker's a good choice. Sunstreaker's a neat character. He was very full of himself. He was arrogant, and he thought he was very pretty. At least according to his specifications. Yeah, you gotta give me context sometimes. You're all talking like a minute or two after what I say. There's like a 30-second delay, I think I calculated the other day. Approximately 30 seconds. I say hi. And then 30 seconds later, you hear me say hi. And then you respond. But I don't have a lot to talk about. I talked about these guys. Now we're done talking about those guys. I got some SpongeBob SquarePants Matchbox cars. How about that? That's fun. Totally got that. Planet X Metroplex. Predacon Waspinator's favorite G1 cars are Red Alert and Blue Streak. Yeah, the old Nissan Fair Ladies, man. With the weird mirrors out on the wheel wells. Planet X Metroplex. Alright, well, now you got me curious. Oh, that's a little more intense than I wanted. Here we go. Let's go. Let's see, that's Make Toys Utopia. So yeah, Planet X does a lot of Fall of Cybertron, so I assume you're talking about a Fall of Cybertron Metroplex. Let's be strict, just in case. All I need is for a live stream to have some crazy thing, just because I'm looking for Metroplex. So I guess that's it. Is that what you're talking about? Let's return to this chat and see if that's... You know, I don't really follow the shows necessarily. I think the last show I bothered trying to watch was Transformers Animated. I guess I watched some Transformers Prime. Yeah, Transformers Prime is the last show I watched. I mean, I think Prime had a really good storyline. Transformers Animated was a little more kiddie. But Transformers Prime tried to follow some more mature themes, and it was an interesting show. Of course, everyone loves G1, but G1's kind of... I don't know. Like I guess the art style is very inconsistent. You know, what with you'd have several Starscreams in a scene. Yeah, you think that's it, Shark? Yeah, Planet X. You see how long the delay was before I saw your comment, though. I hate Miku. Is that from Transformers Animated? The girl? Yeah. I mean, Transformers Animated was a little bit annoying, but I really like how they captured like the animated look in the toys. I was skeptical at first, and then I started getting the toys, and I was like, they really pulled this off. Because when you first see the Transformers Animated designs, you're like, they can't make a toy out of that. But damned if they did. They made toys out of those. So Transformers Animated was cool in terms of the toy design, but I think Transformers Prime was probably my favorite show that I watched. So I can't compare it to IDW Comics, which I haven't read, and I can't compare it to a lot of the other shows I didn't watch either. So I know the Transformers Armada, Energon, and Cybertron were kind of garbage shows. I didn't like them. I didn't like that CG. By the time they got to Transformers Prime, the CG was much more mature technology, so it worked. But I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Armada trilogy shows very much. What's with all these messages retracted? What's going on here? Interesting. Miku is in Prime. Oh, she's the the teenage girl. Was it Jack was the little kid, and then Miku was the one that hang around with Bulkhead all the time. Jack was always hanging around with RC. And then Jack was the older kid, and then the little kid that hung around with Bumblebee. Ooh, I don't remember his name. Then there was Jack's mom. Transformers Prime characters. Let's go to the Wikipedias. Humans. Main humans. Jack Darby. Miko Nakadai. Raph. Raph was the kid's name. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I watched G1. I watched G1 when they were first airing on the television set. I watched G1 in 1984. You young whippersnappers. Yeah, it's RAF, R-A-F. I'll spell it for you. I spell it. Probably short for like Raphael or something. But yeah, I watched G1 in 1984 when they were airing on the television set. So I have seen a lot of the G1 cartoons. But it's not something I really go back and watch because it's like, you know, I like better animation than that. Pretty good animation for its day, though, I suppose. Also really like Robotech back then, which was borrowed from 3 different Japanese cartoons. Macross, what was that show called? Southern Cross or whatever, and then Mospeada. Just finished the last season of G1. Well, you know, G1's worth watching. It's where it all started. It was like the made up story that they came up with for an assortment of random Japanese robot toys that they put together into one toy line and said, we need stories. And they decided that the tractor trailer guy was the leader of the Autobots, and they decided that the gun was the leader of the bad guys. And haven't watched Transformers Prime since 2013. That makes 2 of us. Was that long ago? 2013? Yeesh. And now we got like Transformers Cyberverse, and I don't even collect that anymore. It's like the first main line sort of main line that I skipped in a long time. But I've decided that I need to start skipping some of the cheaper toys because they're just not worth. They're not worth the time for me. We are coming up on an hour, which is what I like to target my live stream at. So I will invite any additional comments or questions or shout outs. And then we'll have to call it a day. Call that a live stream, you know. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. That sounds right, I guess. I always kind of feel like Prime was more recent than that. Maybe just because I liked it. I like the toy line, or at least I like especially the first edition toys were really good. The ones that ended up being exclusive to Toys R Us. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to. Predacon Waspinator wasn't texting because he was eating, making those bad prioritization choices, I guess. Eating instead of participating in the live stream. Yeah, G1, they covered all the characters. They got that whole weird sequence in season 2 or 3 when they bring back Optimus Prime because they realized what a horrible mistake it was to kill him. What were we thinking? And they're like, we need to make a bunch of toys that are basically Optimus Prime but fancier. So you get Power Master Optimus Prime and. Yeah, I watched the 1986 Transformers movie in 1986 in the movie theater. It was amazing. It also destroyed my childhood when they killed off Optimus Prime. I was like, what? If you go, Blank Slate Studios asks what my picture is for my YouTube channel. If you go to last week's live stream, you'll see that toy. But it's the Perfect Effect Leonidas. Or are you talking about my avatar or my picture for my channel? What's the picture for my channel? I don't know. Let me look at my channel. I mean, the banner picture at the top is MP10 with his chest open. The Matrix of Leadership and whatnot. How old was I when the movie came out? I was... So it was 86. I was like 12 or 13. I was probably 13 already. Yeah, 13. Because I'm old. Now you can do the math. Yeah, 13. Ooh, Darth Clone came in with November 2010 is when Prime started. All the way back in 2010. Just amazing. There's been so much going on since then. Transformers Prime would have been a really good toy line if they didn't have to get all cheap. Even so, that like the first edition Viacon in Transformers Prime was, you know, cool enough. But the actual mainline Viacon, I actually did a stop motion video of it because it's just so clever. Because they take the whole flat top of the car and like roll it up inside the calves of the robot. Very clever. Yeah, my avatar is a close-up of the face of the lion from Perfect Effect, Leonidas, discussed in last week's live stream. Predacon Waspinator was negative 18 when the 86 movie came out. Good to know. Young people. Ended in July 2013. Darth Clone with the trivia. APC Toys. Well, I don't know. The first edition Bulkhead that I did a video of way back in the day before I was in my modern format was a really great figure. It's a KO Transformers Prime Bulkhead by APC Toys. Okay. Yeah. Well, it looks like it's based on the first edition Bulkhead, so that's a good choice. The first edition Bulkhead was great. Yes, I had a lot of the Transformers toys. I sold them over the years because they don't have a lot of articulation, so they're not... I wish I hadn't sold them, but I needed the money at the time. But, they don't have a lot of articulation, so they have limitations. I still have an original Jetfire. And thanks to an eBay seller, I was able to replace one broken part that I had. So I have a Jetfire with all of his bits intact. And then I've got a few other odds and ends. I've got like most of the aerial bots, but I think I'm missing like a fist and a foot, you know. Stuff gets lost over the years. But yeah, I had like Metroplex, and I had the Dinobots. I had all the 1984 line. So I had like all, was it 13 cars? And I had Optimus Prime and Megatron and the 3 jets and the Insecticons and Soundwave and the tapes, and I had all that stuff. Well, sure. Do you have the Hot Rod toy that just came out at Walmart? Because I have that one. Because despite the lack of articulation, if they're going to re-release the toys, I guess I'm going to get them. For nostalgia's sake. Yeah, some random combiner guys. But most of the combiners, other than Devastator, all the combiners were what they called Scramble City, which meant you could mix and match the parts, which is kind of clever. I have mixed feelings about the Weijing Toys oversized MPM Optimus Prime. Well, you'll have to elaborate on your mixed feelings. I think it looks like a nice improvement on the design, but No, the OG one. Oh, you have the OG 1986 Hot Rod. Well, that's cool. I have the re-release, but I did have the Hot Rod back in the day, but I sold it. That's before 2001 when I got back into Transformers, when I was like, oh my god, these do have articulation. Yeah, no torso. Of course, the best torso was the Bruticus torso. Although, I don't know, man. I really like the Hotspot, the Defensor torso. It was the only one where the head was integrated into the toy. Like, it wasn't like a separate head that you put on. It wasn't a parts former for the head. The head was built into the crane, which was kind of cool. Nice. I found a dude at a flea market near me who has a treasure trove of Transformers, but he prices them higher. Well, yeah. Gotta price them up depending on your market. If people pay that price, then that's the right price. It's always a challenge coming up with the right price, though. I have a Lego crane that's got this incredibly long Lego drive shaft. That's a big drive shaft right there. Random things from my desk. All right. Last call for questions and comments, and then we'll be ending the live stream. Darth Clone asked about doing the rest of the Ocular Max Bruticus. Absolutely. I'm all in on that. What a great idea. It's great not to have a bunch of parts left over, although they just announced that there's like an upgrade set. So now you can get parts for it. Whatevs. The most complex masterpiece Transformer? The most complex official masterpiece, I suppose, would be MP44 Optimus. Either him or MP, 36 Megatron? One of those is the most complicated. Probably the Optimus. The MP39 Sunstreaker is nice and complicated, though. But not as complicated as his big brothers. Shark is signing off. I'm signing off in a moment as well. Everyone have a good week. Look for, I think, I'll be doing the World War II Toy World Bumblebee on Sunday. And then probably the next weekend I'll have the Ocular Max version of Swindle. I'll definitely be shooting that right away. My favorite, most complicated third-party figure would be the G Creation Ultra Maximus. That's the most complicated thing I've ever seen. All right, guys. Signing off. Everyone have a good day. And I don't have a sign off, so have a nice day, have a nice weekend. Talk to you next week. There won't be a live stream because I'm on call, but the following week I'll catch up on some figures in the live stream. See you guys later.